Design engineers research opportunities for new products and help develop prototypes. Typically, design engineers are responsible for designing new products and systems, creating solution prototypes, improving efficiency and effectiveness of the process, estimating costs for new product, assessing prototypes for issues and risks, supervising the process, collaborating with stakeholders, and a lot of other stuff. Before hiring the candidate, companies would like to make sure that the candidate can pass IQ and aptitude test to succeed on the job. Hi there, this is Vadim Mikhailenko from Online Training for Everyone. And in this video, I would like to help you get ready and pass interview and employment assessment test. Most common questions we see as part of employment assessment test are analytical and problem solving, patterns, charts and graphs, math and calculation questions, logical interpretation and reasoning questions, data interpretation and analysis questions, as well as a lot of others. Employment assessment tests typically used on the jobs that require analytical and problem-solving skills. These types of tests typically very important for the candidates that may need to demonstrate business acumen skills and business decision-making skills in the future as part of their job. Let me share with you some best practices on how to get the most out of the video you're about to watch. You can watch this video as many times as you need to better understand the material. Consider watching from the beginning to end to make sure you didn't miss anything and have a good comprehension of the material. Practice questions and answers presented. Make sure you pause on the question and see if you can come up with the answer. And as usual, drop us a line and ask any questions and comments. Here's the sample question you might see on the test. Based on the data, determine which meal generates largest revenue for the establishment. And you have two data tables. You have day and meals sold, represented in the first table, and you have days Sunday through Saturday. You have 4 different meals: sausage and eggs, chicken salad, tuna sandwich, and burger. And you have daily sales for each one of these meals. You also have price per meal charged, and you have prices per meal for all different products. There are 4 choices. Each choice matches the meal. Do you think you know the answer? In this video, I will share with you sample questions we see on the test. I will have some questions for you to try, and I'll show you tips, tricks, and hacks on how to get ready and pass the test. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this, and we'll make sure to deliver it to you in the future. Also, please consider subscribing to Online Training for Everyone. With every video that we make, we help you get ready and get hired for your dream job. And now, let's go ahead and jump straight to the questions. Let's look at the interesting problem which you might frequently see on the test. There are 3 daughters in the family. Each one is half the age of the older sister. The sum of ages of all 3 sisters is 28. How old is each sister? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 4, 8, and 16. Choice B, 4, 8, and 19. Choice C, 5, 10, and 20. Choice D, 6, 10, and 12. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. To solve this challenge, I'll show you how to build a formula that will lead you to the solution. But in the end, we will also look at the alternative way, which might be faster. So the sum of all ages for the sisters is 28 years. We will introduce the variable y, and based on the variable, we'll try to create a formula to calculate the age of each sister. If the youngest little sister's age is y, then the age of the middle sister would be 2 multiplied by y, and the age of the oldest sister would be 4 multiplied by y, which is 2 by 2 by y. So the total formula to get to 28 would be y plus 2y's plus 4y's would be equal to 28. So 7 multiplied by y is equals 28. And y can be calculated as 28 divided by 7, and y would be equal to 4. So the youngest sister is 4 years old, the middle sister is 8 years old, which is 4 multiplied by 2, and the oldest sister is 16 years old. So the correct choice here is choice A. Now let me show you an alternative way to solve this challenge without using any formulas. If you look at the choices A, B, C, and D, you see that choice A matches the pattern. So for example, if you have youngest sister as age 4, the middle sister would be 4 by 2, which is 8, which is correct, and then 8 by 2 is 16. Let's do the same thing for other choices. Choice B, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, but 8 multiplied by 2 is calculated incorrectly, so choice B can be eliminated. Same thing for choice C. The only difference is that even though numbers match, 5 by 2 is 10, 10 by 2 is 20, the end result, 20 plus 10 plus 5, is going to be equal 35 and not 28. So, and the same thing for choice D. 6 multiplied by 2 is 12, not 10. So the choice D, C, and B could be eliminated without even creating a formula. Hopefully this gives you enough choices to solve this problem on the test. And now, let's look at the question which confused tons of people during the test. How many squares are in this picture? And you have choices of 16, 29, 30, and 32. Which one do you think is right? The confusion part of this question comes with the fact that squares are not only the small squares that's shown in the picture. So if you do only small squares, the answer would be 16. But you can have this area as a square, you can have this area as a square, and large area is also a square. So once you calculate all of those, you will get to the correct answer. And the correct answer is 30, because there are 16 small squares, 9 squares which would be created using 4 small squares, 4 squares which can be created using 9 small squares, and 1 big square. So that when we come out with the answer 30. So you kind of have to know how to calculate it a little bit, but this question we see a lot as part of numerical reasoning tests and psychometric tests. So I just want to make sure that you guys are prepared. Let's look at the tricky question, which is often used to test your knowledge of finding synonyms and understanding analogy in terms of the words. Which word can logically replace the question mark? Water is to a pipe as something to a wire. And you have 5 choices: electricity, voltage, current, heat, or cord. Do you think you know the answer? In logical terms, this question asks you to explain the things in terms of another and to highlight the ways in which they are alike. Water is to a pipe as an electricity to a wire, so the correct answer here is choice A. If you look at choices B to E, you see that they're incorrect choices because they do not provide such an explanation. Hopefully you've nailed this question. And now, here's the question for you to try. Please make sure to post your answer in the comment section of this video. First and second bookshelves together have 50 books. First and third bookshelves together have 40 books. Second and third bookshelves together have 30 books. How many books are in there on each shelf? And you have 4 choices of different sets. Choice A, 20, 30, and 10 for the first, second, and third. Choice B, 25, 25, and 15. Choice C, 30, 20, and 10. And choice D, 35, 15, and 15. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video, and I or other experts on the channel will reply with the correct answer in the comments as well. Thanks for participating, and good luck testing your knowledge. Let's look at the budget question you might frequently see as part of employment assessment test. A student sets her budget for groceries at X dollars. If for each of N days she uses Z worth of groceries, which of the following expressions represents amount left in her budget? And you have 4 choices: X minus N, X minus Z, and X minus Z, and then X minus NZ. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. To solve this challenge, let's interpret the original formula so we can put the correct values into the formula. If a student sets her budget for groceries as X and then uses Z worth of groceries in N days, the original budget value would be X, and she uses N multiplied by Z. So the budgeted amount minus the actual expense represents the amount left in her budget. So the final formula would be X minus NZ. So the correct choice here is choice D, X minus NZ. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Let's look at the interesting question you might see as part of employment assessment test. A student can rent a violin from a music store for $15 a month for the first 3 months, and then $10 a month for each of the following months. How much would he pay for rent if he needs a violin for 9 months? And you have 4 choices: $90, $105, $120, and $135. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct solution together. To calculate correct values, we need to do 2 separate calculations. First, we need to calculate the value for the first 3 months, which would be an equivalent of the rent $15 per month multiplied by 3. The value would be 45. This is the total student will pay for the first 3 months. After first 3 months, student will have a discounted rent, $10 a month. So the value for the next 6 months would be $10 per month multiplied by 6, and then would be equivalent of 60. So the total cost of renting the violin for 9 months would be 45 plus 60, which would be an equivalent of $105. So the correct choice here is choice B. Hopefully you've nailed this question. And if you're looking for more similar questions that you see on employment assessment test, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I would like to ask you to participate in our daily assessment test challenge. I post new questions regularly as part of online training for everyone YouTube channel community tab. I give you opportunity to try and answer this question yourself. We post answers and explanations to the question in the comments next day. Please make sure to check it out and test your knowledge. And now let's continue and get you ready for the test. Now let's look at the question which is frequently used as part of verbal reasoning, aptitude test, and psychometric tests. If you rearrange the letters CIF, AIP, C, you would have the name of and there are 4 choices: country, city, ocean, and river. So the tricky part of this question is that these are not the final answers. You can't rearrange this set of letters to get to the country. You can't rearrange it to get to the ocean letter or to any one of these letters. It is country name that would be a result of this rearrangement, or ocean name that would be, or city name or river name. So let's see if you can get this one correctly. Unfortunately, there is no easy way to prepare yourself for these types of questions. And the correct answer here is Pacific. So the answer is Pacific Ocean, right? But there's no way for you to know this. You probably heard the term of Pacific Ocean, but the best practice to answer these types of questions would be to go and start with the smallest one, and smallest one would be ocean. There are only very few oceans, and you're probably much better off starting and going and counting through all these oceans that are available. And one of those oceans would be Pacific Ocean. Because if you start to go with city, river, and country, there are too many countries, too many cities, and too many rivers, and the expectation is that you would not know all of this, and you can't answer. So that's the best way to come to these questions. Identify what is the smallest number of items that's on the list, and then loop through these items to identify the right one. So going back, is Pacific Ocean is the answer. And hopefully you will have the tips and tricks to get these types of questions correctly. Let's look at the tricky question you might frequently see as part of employment assessment test. The math class had 29 enrolled students, while 34 students were enrolled into the English class. If 14 students were enrolled into both classes, how many are enrolled in only one of the classes? And you have 4 different choices: 15, 20, 35, and 63. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. To solve this challenge, we need to understand how many students were enrolled into the math class only, and then into the English class only. To calculate math-only students, we need to subtract 14 from 29, and we'll get the number of 15 students enrolled into the math class only. Number of only English students would be 20. When we subtract 14 from 24, this is exactly what we get, 20 students. So the answer would be the sum of 15 and 20. And 35 students are the students that only enrolled into one of the classes. So the correct answer is C. Let's recap. We have groups of students that are enrolled into both English and math classes. To solve this challenge, we need to find students that only enrolled into one particular class, and then add them up to get to the correct answer. Hopefully you've nailed this question. And now here's the question for you to try. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comments, and I'll give you my feedback. Determine the next number in the sequence. And you have a sequence of numbers: 7, 13, 25, 49, 97, and then the next number might be A, 185, choice B, 187, choice C, 191, or choice D, 193. If you know the answer, please make sure to post it in the comments. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the tricky problem we frequently see on the test. Hikers went on a nature trip and walked 40 miles in 3 days. They walked 3 times more on the first day than on the last day, and the same mileage on the second day and on the first day and the third days combined. How many miles did they walk each day? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 10 miles first day, 20 miles second day, and then 10 miles third day. Choice B, 15, 15 and 10. Choice C, 10, 25 and 5. And choice D, 15, 20 and 5. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the formula and the correct answer together and solve this challenge quickly. Before jumping to the formula-based solution, let me show you a quick way to solve this challenge. If you read the second sentence, you would realize that they walked 3 times more on the first day than on the last day. And the only choice that matches this condition would be choice D, because in choice D, on the third day, they walked 5 miles, and on the first day, they walked 15 miles. So 5 multiplied by 3 equals exactly 15. The second part of the sentence indicates that they walked the same mileage on the second day as on the first and third days combined. So if we validate against this part of the logic, that you will see that 20 would be equivalent of 15 plus 5. So that's another match for choice D. But that's a lot of guessing. Let's go to the formula-based solution. If you want to solve this problem using the formula, you will see that on the third day they walked X miles, and on the first day they walked 3 times X miles. Then on the second days they walked 3 times X plus X miles, and total they walked 40 miles. Because in total they walked 40 miles, the formula will be 3x plus 3x plus x plus x equals 40. If we try to get to the value of x, we would need to divide 40 by 8, which would be an equivalent of 5. So the first day they walked 3 by 5, 15 miles. On the second day they walked 15 plus 5, 20 miles. And on the third day they walked 5 miles. So the correct answer is choice D, 15, 20, and 5 miles in 3 days. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now have more than one option how to solve it in the test. Do you know any other better options? Please feel free to share them in the comment section of this video. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the tricky problem which could be easily solved. There is an unknown number. 1 was added to this number, then 2 was subtracted from the result. Then it was multiplied by 3 and then divided by 4. The result is 6. So what is the original number? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 6. Choice B, 8. Choice C, 9. And then choice D, 12. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. The easiest way to solve this is to go in reverse. If we multiply 6 by 4, then divide by 3, then add 2, and do minus 1, the end result of it would be 9. Let's check if this is correct. 9 plus 1 minus 2, then multiplied by 3 and then divided by 4 equals 6. So the correct answer is choice C, 9. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to solve these problems on the test. Here is the tricky question, which a lot of candidates answer incorrectly because they do not spend enough time and miss some of the important combination in the fraction. Solve x from this equation, and you have a formula where you need to calculate the value x. You also have 4 different choices. Please pause the video and see if you can calculate the correct answer here. And now let's go and calculate the correct answer together. The tricky part in this question is that you need to divide 3 by 1/3, which is an equivalent of 9. And a lot of people, when they do calculation, instead multiply 3 by 1/3 and get to the number 1. This calculation is an equivalent of multiplying 3 by 3, which is obviously an equivalent of 9. When you proceed with adds and subtracts, you get to the number 1. So the correct choice here is choice A. Hopefully you've nailed this question, but in case you need more questions from the real tests, make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. And now, here's the question for your practice. Vincent jogged at a rate of 6 miles per hour for 10 minutes and then walked at a rate of 3 miles per hour for 20 minutes. Which of the following gives the average rate in miles per hour at which he walked over this 30-minute span? Choice A, 4. Choice B, 5 miles per hour. Choice C, 6 miles per hour. Or choice 7, 7 miles per hour. If you know the answer, please post it in comments and I'll provide you with my feedback. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the simple but at the same time tricky question which we frequently see on the test. The sum of ages of 4 family members, mom, dad, daughter, and son, is 70. What would be the sum of their ages together in 4 years? And we have 4 different choices. Choice A, 74. Choice B, 76. Choice C, 82. And choice D, 86. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can solve this challenge together. The easiest way to solve this challenge is to understand what are we being asked. Currently, total age of 4 people together is 70 years old. And you have to understand that in 4 years, each family member will be 4 years older. Since family has 4 members in total, age increase for the family will be 4 multiplied by 4 members multiplied by 4 years, which would be 16. So the total age of the family members in 4 years will be 70 plus 16 would be 86. So the correct choice here is choice D, 86. Hopefully you've nailed this question, and if you need more questions like this, similar to what you see on the test, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. Let's look at the short, but at the same time very tricky question that we frequently see on the test. How many 2-digit numbers exist where both digits are odd? And you have 4 choices. Choice A, 90. Choice B, 25. Choice C, 45. And choice D, 35. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see how we can get to the correct solution together. Let's first define what is the number where both digits are odd. It is basically a number where both first and second numbers can be either 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. There are 5 possibilities for each digit if you take a look at the grids. You see these types of numbers where first digit is either 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, because those are odd numbers. And the total number of 2-digit numbers where 2 digits are odd is 5. So 5 multiplied by 5 is equal 25. And if you take a look at the diagram, you can quickly do the math and memorize how to do this particular type of calculations. So the correct answer here is choice B, 25. There are 25 numbers between 1 and 100 where both digits are odd. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer it on the test. Can I ask you to do me a favor? If you know somebody who is looking for the job and will benefit from this video, can you please share this video with them? This is going to help them to get ready for the job interview and assessment test and help them get hired for their dream job. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And now let's continue and get you ready for the job interview and assessment test. Let's look at the very interesting, but at the same time tricky and captivating question that you might frequently see as part of employment assessment test. How many two-digit numbers between 1 and 100 with both digits even? And you have 4 choices: 50, 48, 25, and 20. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can get to the correct answer together. You can solve this challenge in 2 different ways. The first way is probably the easiest, is to go through all the numbers between 1 and 100 and only get the ones that match the criteria. Because we're only looking for 2-digit numbers, only numbers that start with 2, 4, 6, or 8 will match the criteria. Then you look at the second digit, which could be 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So in the 20s, you will have numbers 20, 22, 24, 26, or 28. 5 numbers. Very similar set of numbers in the 40s, and very similar in the 60s and 80s as well. Another way to solve this challenge would be through math, which would be more helpful, especially if you're dealing with the larger numbers that could be hard to put into this grid on a timely basis. To do it using the math principles, we need to calculate the possibilities for the first numbers, which could be 2, 4, 6, or 8. And the total count of possibilities is 4. The second number values could be 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, and there are 5 possibilities for the second number. So the total number of possibilities would be a result of multiplication of 4 by 5, which would be an equivalent of 20. So the correct choice is D. Hopefully you understand this question and will know how to solve it if you get similar question as part of employment assessment test. Thanks for watching. I encourage you to check out our daily question challenge in the community section of this channel. I also recommend that you check downloads in the description section of this video. Please also check out resources page on our website, howtoanalyzedata.net/resources. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this. I would encourage you to share this video with other people that might be looking for the job. This will help them to get prepared and pass assessment test faster. Please consider subscribing and following this channel. We have a community of great people helping each other to get ready and pass the test. Please leave questions, comments, or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best on your interview and assessment test. Thanks for watching.